Hello people of YouTube and welcome to a little bit of tech talk. A few years ago, I think, I uploaded a first look video on this camera. This is my vlogging camera and this is a Canon Legria Mini X. A few weeks ago I got a comment on that video asking what would be the better camera to go for. This one here, the Legria Mini X, or this one here, the Canon G7X. Just a heads up, this camera is not mine, this camera is Signa's, this is her vlogging camera, so I don't have as much experience with this camera as I do with this one, but I did really like the comment and I did really like the question, so I wanted to address this in a short little video. Now I'm not going to get too techy, I am mainly going to be talking about what kind of purpose either camera is the most useful for, and yeah, I hope some of you might find this a bit useful. So first up, I want to address that there is quite a significant price difference between the two cameras. The Legria cost me, I think, 450 euros, and this camera is closer to 750-ish euros, which means that there's also a bit of a quality difference in these two cameras, which you can already feel when you pick them up. This camera feels solid, properly made, very, very sturdy, and this camera feels okay, but it's definitely a bit plasticky. Then I would like to address video quality first, because that is for most people the most interesting part. I can keep this very short. This camera shoots nicer video. The G7X excels in amazing video. Actually, I would like to state that this camera shoots better video than my EOS 600D, the one that I am talking to right now. The shallow depth of field that this camera with its fixed lens can produce is just astonishing. You get an almost DSLR-like feel from the footage that this camera makes. Also, it's very, very customizable, and the slow motion on this camera is very, very lovely. You can go up to 60 frames per second in full HD, which is a thing that my 600D can't do, which is a thing that this camera cannot do. These two cameras only go to 60 frames per second in 720p. So the resolution of this camera in slow motion is a lot better. And as you might know, I really, really love slow motion. So if you like slow motion as well, and this is definitely the camera for you to go for. So shallow depth of field is nice, slow motion is very nice, even low light is pretty good, and you can zoom in and out on people, which I imagine you want as well. And it has an optical image stabilizer, which is pretty amazing. It's very astonishing what this camera can do in terms of compensating for shaky hands. Quick interruption from me while I'm editing this video. I completely forgot to mention that the G7X has a built-in ND filter, which basically, if you don't know what that means, is sunglasses for your camera. Signa didn't have it enabled when we were shooting the test footage that you just saw, but if you do enable it, then you basically allow less light to hit the sensor of the camera, which means that the camera opens up the aperture more, and you get more of that DSLR look, that shallow depth of field, blurry backgrounds, what I have been preaching about earlier. Very, very pretty. Just so you know, the camera is capable of doing that, but we didn't really get to show it off in the footage that we shot. This camera, on the other hand, video quality is okay, not great. First thing that I really want to point out is this camera has a fixed fisheye lens. So you get that weird GoPro-like look when you film in normal mode with this camera. Now it does have a zoom in mode, which doesn't actually physically zoom in the lens, but it crops the sensor, if it's alright. So it makes the surface of the sensor smaller. The active surface of the sensor gets smaller. What that basically does is it zooms in and it gives you a non-fisheye look to your footage, which can be really nice. And when you zoom in, you also have a digital image stabilizer, which is, I must say, quite impressive. The digital image stabilizer is really good, but it's never, and it will never be as good as an optical image stabilizer that you can find in this. The sad thing is that when you zoom in, low light capabilities go to shit. The ISO capabilities of this camera aren't great to begin with, and if you zoom in, it just doesn't work. If you want to zoom in, you really need to do it in broad daylight. However, this camera is a really good choice for one particular reason. these two things. These two things are microphones, and they are huge, and the audio quality that they produce is astonishing. It's amazing, it's so good, and the customizability in this camera doesn't have anything to do with video quality. Video quality and customizability is very standard, but the audio quality and the audio customizability that you can find in this camera is really, really good. What's also amazing about this camera is that it has a microphone input, so I can use my Rode video mic that you might be able to see down there. I can plug my Rode video mic into this, and I can also plug in headphones so I can monitor the audio. So I can have an external audio source and I can monitor the audio at the same time, which is incredible for a tiny camera like this. What I also really, really like about this camera is its non-standard form factor. It's a bit weird. It's supposed to be held like this in your palm. You can sort of grip it like this. It has a flippy screen that flips up like this, so it's perfect for vlogging, and you can use it like this as well. The screen flips back too. So that is very, very nice. This camera, the G7X, also has a flippy screen, which is amazing. You can use it for vlogging, although it's a bit awkward to hold this one if you want to vlog. I really, really like the way my own Canon grips. It's nicer for vlogging, I'd say. Okay, so to who would I recommend either of these cameras? This one is perfect if you are a vlogger, especially if you are a starting out vlogger and you can only afford one camera. So you can't have a main camera like my 600D plus a vlogging camera. This is amazing because it basically functions as both. It functions really well as a camera that you just mount on a tripod and talk to like I'm doing right now. It also works amazing as a vlogging camera. Because of the form factor, it's so small, but the quality is so nice. And for the vlogging, it's very nice that the image stabilizer is there. So if you are a vlogger, especially if you are a starting vlogger, this is amazing. Now this camera is for a bit more of a specific market. If you are, for example, a YouTuber who does like ukulele covers and stuff, the Canon Legria Mini X is amazing because it delivers amazing audio quality and decent video quality in such a tiny package. So you can set up this camera anywhere, whether it is in a park or indoors, and just start playing, and you have good results instantly. So if you are a musician and you like to make quick music videos and upload them to YouTube, this camera is definitely the one to go to. Good, so that was a bit incoherent and very unscripted. Down below in the description you can find some links to my girlfriend using this camera and me using this camera. So you can sort of compare them side by side in more applied situations, because we both use these to vlog with. I have shot some music with this, and it's just so you can see which one you like better. Anyway, I hope that was useful. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know down in the comments below if you have anything to add to what I have said about these cameras, or if you have any questions. Definitely leave them down below, because I check my comments regularly and I will answer all of your questions about these two cameras in depth. Good, thanks for watching. I shall see you next time. Ciao.